Hi there, I've got another book review for you. And today I have something that's very, very strange. It's a book called The Library at Mount Char, and its author is Scott Hawkins. I had to glimpse at my notes here. So this is a strange book. I even have like notes because it's hard to review. Because it's so unlike other fantasy books. It's a mix of, I would say, fantasy and horror. It transcends genre. You can look at it as an urban fantasy. It's set in our world with fantastical elements. You can look at it as another reviewer said as magical realism, and you can look at it as a terrifying horror because it's all of this and more. It's at the same time terrifying and hilarious at some points. In this book, we follow a character named Caroline. Caroline has lost her parents when she was really young, and she and other kids were adopted by this figure that's known to them as only as father. They grew up, they had access to this strange library that appears to contain all the knowledge of creation. Everything that could ever be known appears to be there. The thing is, father is missing. And it's now a race to see who controls the library and who will control creation. The thing about Caroline and her siblings is that the way this book is written, the prose, the implied world building, I'm not sure they are humans. I'm not sure they're still human. They're people and other entities in this book that seem to behave like the remembrance of being humans. It's fantastic because so the way the world building and the characters are written and everything is implied, you have these characters that are not fully human. They seem to remember being human once, and they are trying to act the part, but they have like these powers that are not like supernatural powers. They are like knowledge that has been lost to the rest of mankind. And the way the prose works in this book is that it sounds like old religious texts, like let's say the Bible or some other text from other cultures. It's so cool because that creates like this atmosphere. Like, is this father figure, this person that adopted them, is it God? Is it not clear? And is God missing? Is God dead? Is father missing? Is father dead? It's completely unclear. It's such an edgy book. See, one of the things I loved about this book is that very often when I pick a fantasy book to read, the characters tend to fall into two categories. They're either, let's say, an idealized heroic version of ourselves. They are, even if they have flaws, they are like how we would like to be seen as a species, as like the best of us, even with all the mistakes. And the other kind is the deeply flawed character that feels completely real and still moves forward. Those tends to be usually how people write stuff that I've been reading. But the characters in this book are something else. They seem to be people that remember being human and are trying to. They're not trying to act as the best heroic version of mankind or the flawless, absolutely real characters that we see and that are in vogue these days. They are just these strange people. And that's not saying all the rest of the world building and magic. And I would not say magic because I think that I want to use the term like mythos, like Lovecraftian mythos kind of thing. Like the mythology, the cosmology, the theology behind the book. It's amazing. And it is, in the end, kind of a cross between a murder mystery and a heist story, I'd say. It has the common tropes of both, of a murder mystery with the investigation, the suspects and things, and the tropes of heist, of planning, trying to execute a plan, in these religious trappings and this edgy nature. It's fantastic. I'm trying not to spoil the plot, so all I say is that Father is missing, the library has the keys to creation, and Carolyn kinda has a plan. What I would like to see more, because as you know, like, reviews here is what I love and what I like to see more, and what are my next steps. So I've already spoke about what I love about this book. It's the world building and the characters. Even more than the plot. The plot is competent. It's competent plot. The prose fits perfectly with the prose, creates this atmosphere that's amazing. The pacing, like spot on, like a thriller, like an angry arrow towards its conclusion. But it's the characters. The characters are brilliant. The characters and the world building are brilliant. What I would like to see more, I would like to see a sequel. I want more stories in this world. Like, I understand that given how it ends, that a sequel is complicated. I don't care. I just want one. And what I would like to see more is like, I usually, like, it's very, I will not say rare, because like that's a job of the whole editors and publishing apparatus around the book, to make sure that the book is not too long and not too short for the story it's trying to tell. And the library at Mount Char fits perfect the size it has. I wouldn't complain about it. It's not too short, not too long. But you know, like, I love this world so much that I wouldn't mind it being like a padded version. Like, let's have like a director's cut, like Hawkins revised version with 200 more pages of stuff. I would love it, because if you show me the characters into more situations and more world building, I would just absorb that. My next steps for this is that I was checking the author website, and apparently they tried to write a sequel and they were not happy with what was going on. Then they started working on another book, and now they are revising the draft for this other book that's unrelated. But this is a debut novel, and it's amazing. I just want to see more things written by this author, so I will just keep an eye out for him and try to see what he comes up with next. And that's it for this review. If you read this book, let me know how you find it, and see you next time.